Good morning and welcome to this thought for the day for Monday, and today we're in Matthew chapter 12. I'm not going to read the whole passage because it's quite long, but we're reading from verse 1. At that time Jesus went through the grain fields on the Sabbath. His disciples were hungry and began to pick some heads of grain and eat them. When the Pharisees saw this, they said to them, "Look, your disciples are doing what is unlawful on the Sabbath." He answered, "Haven't you read what David did when he and his companions were hungry? He entered the house of God, and he and his companions ate the consecrated bread, which was not lawful for them to do, but only for the priests. Or haven't you read in the law that on the Sabbath the priests and in the temple desecrate the day, and yet are innocent? I tell you that one greater than the temple is here. If you'd known what these words mean, 'I desire mercy, not sacrifice,' you would not have condemned the innocent, for the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath." Going on from that place, he went into their synagogue, and a man with a shriveled hand was there. Looking for a reason to accuse Jesus, they asked him, "Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath?" He said to them, "If any of you has a sheep and it falls into a pit on the Sabbath, will you not take hold of it and lift it out? How much more valuable is a man than a sheep? Therefore it's lawful to do good on the Sabbath." Then he said to the man, "Stretch out your hand." So he stretched it out, and it was completely restored, just as sound as the other. But the Pharisees went out and plotted how they might kill Jesus. As we look at the Pharisees, particularly in their interaction with Jesus, they seem a pretty sad bunch. And yes, we know in history that their motive was to be scrupulous about the law and to encourage other people to do it. But in doing so, they'd made it a straitjacket and gone far beyond what the law was intended for. And as Jesus said, the Sabbath was intended for man and not man for the Sabbath. So it's true of the whole of the law, that the law is God's gift to us to enable us to find the very best in life. But when it came to observance of the Sabbath, the Pharisees had taken it to ridiculous lengths and made it a tripping block for people in ordinary life. And this was exemplified by the disciples innocently just picking a bit of grain as they were walking along and rubbing it through their hands and eating it. But when we look at the idea of Sabbath, I wonder how we respond to it. It does seem to me that if the Pharisees had taken the Sabbath observance to an extreme in one direction, in general terms, Christians in our day and age have taken it to another. Over my lifetime, attitudes to Sundays have changed hugely within the Christian community and the church. And I can remember well the great fights that went on to try and protect people who worked in shops and so on from having to work on the Sabbath, a lost cause as we look at it today. But nowadays it seems to me that we've completely lost the whole idea of the Sabbath and of it being something which is a gift from God and an obligation to God. And so when it comes to going to church, for example, we do it if it suits us, but don't feel any sense of obligation to God to go, and I'm not sure that we're right in doing that. And when it comes to what we do on the Sabbath, pretty much we treat it as any other day of the week. And when it comes to our priorities on the Sabbath, I don't think we really avoid work in any sense on the Sabbath, but really just carry on as normal. And in doing so, it seems to me that we've lost something important. We've lost something in terms of our relationship with God and our attitude to God, so that he doesn't have the sense of importance in our lives that he ought to have as Lord, and that we should take our example from Jesus, who always went to the synagogue on the Sabbath and observe the temple feasts and so on, and that we should not neglect worship of God, but regard it as something which is a privilege and an obligation to us as Christians. And similarly, in what we do on the Sabbath and what our priorities are. I mean, is rugby or horse riding or whatever else we feel, football, more important if it happens to clash with going to church? I'm not sure that I agree. So just a reflection on a Monday morning about our attitude to the principle of Sabbath. Have a great week. God bless you.